As SUVs are becoming the craze in the automotive world, one automaker is marching to a different beat.
As Dodge has become the more performance-oriented brand of the FCA portfolio, it's no surprise to see the Durango getting the same treatment.
But this Durango is not just your ordinary Durango. This one is an RT trim with a Hemi V8 straight out of the Ram 1500. And it rides on a rear-wheel drive chassis and retains the strong muscular American looks that we've all come to love from Dodge.
But the Durango has not been redesigned since 2011. So is it time for Dodge to actually redesign the Durango? We are going to find out in this review. So guys, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Grant.
I'm Skyler.
And we are A Reviews. Yes, we all teamed up, guys. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot better reviews and a lot more fun reviews with us. And today, right next to us is the 2019 Dodge Durango RT. This one actually is the Brass Monkey Edition, so it gets some special tweaks all over the front end. And like I said, this thing is American. So we're gonna see it really, if this thing is really a monster. Alrighty guys, so let's start off with the trim levels for the Durango. First off, you're gonna start off with the base SXT all-wheel drive.
Then you got the XT Plus all-wheel drive.
The GT all-wheel drive.
Then you got the GT Plus all-wheel drive.
The Citadel all-wheel drive.
And the RT all-wheel drive.
Then you got probably the longest trim name ever in history, the Citadel Anodized Platinum.
Then the SRT all-wheel drive.
Which is an absolute fire-breathing beast.
Yeah, I want to say.
So, yeah, and I will also put pricing up top there for you guys to make this a lot easier for you. But today we're looking at the RT here, and this one particularly is the Brass Monkey Edition. And I wonder something. Because of this mail slot, I wonder if this thing fits. It does, but it won't go down. Oh wait, I know what I can do. Hey, it's got a tongue.
You're so stupid.
But before I jump into this review, I would very much love to give a very huge shout out to Tri-Star Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram here in Blairsville, Pennsylvania, for allowing me to come out and review this mean-ass Dodge Durango RT for you guys today. And I would also love to give a very huge shout out to Chad for coming and allowing me to do this as well. I will leave contact information as well as their inventory and website down below. So first, let's start off up front of the Durango. On this particular trim model, you have HID headlamps. I believe these might be actually high beam and low beam. Couldn't find any exact information, and kind of based on what the headlight assembly looks like, I think it's probably HID altogether. But here you got this LED daytime running light down here, as well as this halogen turn signal. And actually, there's a nice little touch in here where it has the a little kind of stick out portion, and it has Dodge engraved into it, which I think is a nice touch. But down below here we have an LED fog light, which honestly I wish that it would have just been LED, both headlight and fog light, but you gotta cheap out somewhere.
And then we have a blacked out grille on the front hood and on the bottom, and then you got what Dodge called it a mail slot.
And then up here on the hood, we have 3 functional air intake vents that take heat out of the engine, and we don't know where they go.
But we will find out once we open the hood. Overall, I still think that the Durango looks pretty fresh. This one really looks mean because this thing has a really big bottom chin spoiler here. But I definitely think it's starting to age. But I'd actually say Dodge didn't do too bad with the restyle, I believe, in 2018. It still looks pretty fresh, but it is starting to get dated. So I really hope that Dodge decides to actually redesign this thing instead of just putting tweaks on this thing. So coming around the side of the Durango measures at about 201 inches long, which is definitely one of the more longer vehicles in the midsize 2/3-row competition. But on this particular RT trim, this being the Brass Monkey, this one gets 20-inch bronze painted wheels wrapped in 265mm tires, which honestly, I'm not a fan of the bronze wheels, but I do have to say the bronze wheels are just definitely a very nice touch against this red paint here. You can see coming down the side, this is the RT model, like I said. So you get that big hood bulge right there, and you guys get a kind of lower side splitter here and a little bit more aggressive styling. This one's missing black roof bars. I'm really surprised that it's missing it, because I think that maybe some of the other RT models get the black roof bars, but it is what it is. Here you have an LED turn signal here, mounted on the mirror. These are not power folding. Kind of wish they were, but it is what it is. Also, this one has a heated exterior mirror as well. So we'll go out farther to the back here and see if these tires are actually bigger on the back, and they are not. They are 265s all around. Overall, the side design is definitely the oldest looking of the Durango, but you can kind of tell this is more of a 3-row crossover because of how large this rear window is. But definitely, out back is where the Durango still means business, and you can definitely tell that this is a performance-oriented SUV.
On the back of the Durango, you got brake lights here, halogen LED rear backup lights, and then down here you got the RT badge, and then the Durango with the Dodge symbol with 4 on it, which means 4-wheel drive, and then you got dual exhaust down here, trailer hitch cover to protect the trailer hitch when you're not using it and make the Durango look a bit more beefier on the back.
But down here, while we're talking about the towing hitch, the Durango can actually tow up to a maximum of 8,700 pounds with the SRT model, but this one can tow a maximum of 7,400, which is best in class. And actually, towing is best in class on every single Durango, whether you get the V6 or the fire-breathing SRT. But we'll go more into the reasoning why the tow ratings are so high on the Durango.
And then up here you have backup camera, and it's kind of, and then we got parking sensors right here to help when you're backing up, and just lets you know when you're close to cars or curbs or something.
And this also comes with the stop function, which I believe will put the brakes on if it senses that you keep on backing up when you're on that mode where it's just the beep is just pure. There's no like kind of stutters on and offs. It's just beep. It'll actually, I think, should stop itself. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not really looking to test that out.
And then in cargo area, Skylar's going to explain that.
There is a power lift gate.
There's power lift gate too, yeah.
Hey guys, back here in the cargo area, we got 17.2 cubic feet of area with the seats up. We also have an option of putting down the seats.
Which, apologize, there's plastic on here.
And this becomes 47.7 cubic feet.
If you fold the second row, if you fold the third row down, which obviously the third row is actually optional on all the Durangos, I think. But what happens if you fold the second row down?
You have 87.5 square feet.
Which is actually pretty good for the segment. I think it might top the Kia Telluride just by a couple square feet. But I know for sure this thing is very close on that. But it kind of gets hampered because of the rear-wheel drive chassis. But again, we'll go into that later. So now let's go ahead and let's go look in the interior, because definitely Dodge is kind of starting to get old in the interior. But there's a lot of unique features.
No, wait for me, wait for me, wait for me!
Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and let's jump into the interior of the Durango and see if this thing's actually aged well in the interior, kind of like the exterior. But first we're going to take a look at the key fob. This is your normal FCA key fob. Honestly, it's really old. It doesn't feel very premium, but I do like that the buttons are a little bit rubber. You got your lock, unlock, press twice to open the hatch, and you also got remote start, which you lock it, press the button twice, it'll beep. And then after a while, it should start up. There's also a blank switch right here, which honestly I do not like. So Dodge should have done something there. And then you also got your panic button. But because this is keyless entry, you can stick the key fob in your pocket here, come up to the door, there's this little portion here. Push that button, it locks the door. Dodge does the sensor behind the door, which is very nice, and I definitely appreciate it. And looking at the first row, you can definitely see this thing does look a lot like the Jeep Grand Cherokee because they share the same platform. Now, getting inside and throwing this shirt into the second row, getting inside, the Durango's got a very nice step-in height. I am really surprised that this is kind of like a crossover SUV, and it has a pretty decent step-in height. Now, shutting the door, let's take the AirPods out and all that. It still sounds a bit solid, but it sounds kind of tinny. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's turn on the car so we can put the windows down. So there's the start button here. The gauges do a nice sweep. Coming through here, you got a TFT instrument cluster here. Not sure the exact size. But let's go over a quick overview. I'm not sure why it keeps on beeping. But anyway, analog speedometer, or tach, as well as the... Why do you keep beeping? Anyway, you got the fuel gauge right here, as well as your engine temperature. There's a little center screen in here that you can also turn the speedometer from an analog design to a... it looks like it's about a 7-inch. You can go between the analog design as well as a digital readout, which I find nice. Down here you have your tire pressures as well as your trans temps, oil pressure, oil life, battery voltage, all sorts of stuff. Then you can click down here and see your average mileage as well as your range, which is 45 and it said low earlier. And you can also see it with the instantaneous mileage and such. Go down to your trip meters, you can see all those kinds of stuff. Then you can go down to your trailer trip as well as your trailer settings and all sorts of stuff. Then you got your audio, your messages, your screen setup as well, and that's pretty basic. One thing I do have to say is that the TFT screen in here is very slow to react. That's been normal for SCA products. I do have to say though that the new Ram 1500 with its center screen that's actually digital is really responsive, but I have to say this has probably got the lowest frame per second ratio. Let's turn the car on actually, or the truck on, as we can say. And let's take a look at the steering wheel. It's a almost 4-spoke design. It's really big, it's really meaty, it feels very nice, it's heated. You have perforated leather sections here. You got paddle shifters here, which are plastic, but they do feel very nice. But they are a third of the size of normal paddle shifters because Fiat Chrysler Automotive does something a lot different. They have the volume up and down buttons on the side as well as your mode button back here, which I'll show you that. Volume up, down, your source button, which I'm going to turn that down. And back here you got your seek forward and backward button. I'm not sure it goes through your, this one cycles through your channels. This control pad here controls the TFT in there. You got your phone pickup and hang up buttons as well as your voice recognition. You got your cruise control here. I'm surprised this one doesn't come with adaptive cruise, but it is what it is. Steering feel in this thing is actually kind of sporty. It feels very well weighted. But I kind of don't like how it's a little bit too firm. But yeah, so let's quick go over interior materials. It's soft touch up here, but it really does feel kind of hard touch. So I wish that Dodge would have put some more premium interior materials in here. Door panel, same thing. There's some leather stitching down here with some metal accenting. Auto up-down windows for only the front only, which I kind of don't like. Like I said, it's got heated mirrors. It's not power folding. This also comes with the blind spot system. Coming over here, your headlamp control. There's your headlights on. Push the stalk in to turn on the fog lights. You got your headlamp dimming control, your fuel door open. There's your parking brake down here. Here's your settings for your memory link seats. You got some cup holders down here. These are hard touch. They are not in with felt. Here's your speaker cover for your 9-speaker Alpine audio stereo system, which I have to say the 9-speaker Alpine stereo system sounds incredible. Now, I'm going to come back up here and let you hear some of the exhaust. This is the 5.7 liter V8, but we will go into that more later. I think it's 8-way power adjusting front seats with 4-way lumbar, which I find very nice. I think that it's also 8-way on the driver's side, or the passenger side. Yes, it is. Coming back over here, as soon as I try to get back to the home menu, I'm not exactly sure how to. I'm going to give you guys a very basic overview of this system, but you guys can go and check out the Ram 1500 reviews or the Chrysler Pacifica up there in the cards for a more kind of in-depth review on this infotainment system. But this is an 8.4-inch Uconnect 4 nav touchscreen. It's very responsive. It is a little bit touchy at times. This one has a Wi-Fi hotspot. This also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Funny enough, you have both heated and ventilated front seats, which is very nice. And the ventilated seats work really well. Like I said, heated steering wheel. This has Bluetooth audio, which again, it hooks up through the 9-speaker Alpine stereo system. You can also option for an 18-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. I've never seen that kind of a feature before on a car, but we're going to come over here. This one has dual zone climate control. I don't like that the actual temperature is displayed in the screen. I wish that it was actually displayed as part of the whole kind of cluster here, but there's your fan speed. And I know that Chrysler does this all the time. Down here, you got a button for your to turn your parking sensors off. You can turn your eco mode on and off. You can turn your sport mode on, which honestly, I kind of find it funny how now this is blinking. Eco mode unavailable in that. You can also turn your traction control off. You can hold it down, I think. No, you can't hold it down. It's just a push button. But you got 2 blank switches here, which I don't like. Coming down here, you have your media hub. Sorry, it's filled with my car review stuff. 12-volt port here. You got a USB charger. You got 2 USB chargers up front here, as well as an auxiliary cord. Here's your trailer bay controller with your gain adjustment and all sorts of stuff. This little transmission selector here is was new for 2018. It's no longer electronic where it goes back to a middle position. You got park, reverse, neutral, and drive, and you can also click over to the left to go to manual mode. Pull up to downshift and pull towards you to upshift, which honestly, it's very hard to actually upshift with this thing. So I definitely find that kind of a little bit disappointing. And I also wish that to upshift, you push up. Putting the camera or the car into reverse, you can see that the backup camera is not very good quality. It's very grainy. It's very dark. At least you do have trajectory. This is the only camera mode that you can activate, so I kind of find that a little bit of a disappointment. Putting it back in park. It is kind of leather wrapped down here, leather wrapped shift boot. You got cup holders here. You also have this little storage cubby, and you also have this little toggle to put it into low range. As well as your neutral thing here to flat tow. And to open the center console, there's 2 little toggles here. Push this one to open up this first cubby here. And then you can also click up here again to do the same thing. The cubby is a little bit small for the class because of it being a rear-wheel drive, because the transmission pretty much just sits right there. So that's kind of a little bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. It's leather wrapped. It feels very nice. It feels very high quality. But one thing I do have to say, I do not like the plastics in here. The hard touch plastics are very, very cheap feeling. I really wish that Dodge would have actually put some more premium material into the hard plastics. But it does kind of feel nice, so I'll kind of give it a little bit of a pass. Opening the glove box here, it's wrapped or lined and felt. It's dampened. There's a good. It's a little bit small for the class, but then again, it is from 2011. Coming up here, let's see if it passes the visor test. 1, 2, 3. Expected from Dodge. I'm glad that they decided to do that. You can open this up and see your ugly face. Halogen interior lighting I do not like. I wish it was LED. You got your sunglass holder here. It's kind of wrapped. It's not wrapped with felt like I was expecting. It's kind of like a more cheap material. I'm not sure why Dodge decided to, yeah. This is kind of like a styrofoam material, which I definitely do not like. Here's your trunk release button. There's no sunroof on this model, which I kind of am not a fan of. You got your tweeter speakers up here as well as your defroster. The interior here on this 2019 Durango is really starting to look old, but it still kind of looks fresh. I do like the 8.4-inch touchscreen as well as the Alpine stereo system, and I love the ventilated seats, by the way. But definitely, I do think that you kind of do need to update this interior Dodge because it's really starting to look old. Some of the materials are kind of really cheap feeling, although I do like the kind of like faux stitching. It's genuine stitching here on the doors. I do like the feel of the leather here, and I like the seats because they are very comfy, decent bolstering. But yeah, it really needs to be redesigned, Dodge, because this thing is like 9 years old. So let's go ahead and jump into the second row and see how roomy it is.
So here in the back seat of the Durango, we have a bit.
We got the same stepping as the front, but still not
We got rear climate control up here, then heated seats down here, 2 USB plugs, and a household outlet, then netting right here for more storage, then 2 cup holders here, non-adjustable seats moving up and back, but you do have the backing up position for laying back and stuff, and then you got soft touch all the way here, leather stitching stuff here, a cup holder there, and that cool design there. But the bad thing about the Durango is it doesn't pass the window test.
Because the window does not go the whole way down. I also forgot to mention to you guys in the fronts also have dual pane windows, just like that Escape I just reviewed, but out back it's only got a single pane, which I expected. So the dual pane was very nice to see.
And also, there's Dodge symbols in the seats, on the rear seats, just like the front have, and I gotta say, it's pretty cool, because it's stitched inside the leather seat.
So in order to get into the third row of the Durango, because this is an older vehicle, it's definitely got a lot harder of a process. There's an actual red strap back here, which is kind of hard to find and kind of hard to reach. You just pull on that, it folds the back of the seat down and the head restraint, but you got to pull it again in order to get the seat back to come up and fold upwards towards the front seat. Definitely, this is kind of cool the way that it does it because it's pretty much just a 2-motion action. But anyway, Skylar's going to tell you about the third row.
Okay guys, back here in the third row, we have 4 vents on the roof, and we have some leather seats in the back here. We got cup holders on each side, hard plastic,
Which is expected.
we got a little bit of leg room back here, decent amount of headroom, and the seats are very comfy.
Also with this model, there is a, you can have this thing in either 5, 6, or 7 seat capacities. I'm going to jump back here too and give you guys a perspective from the 6'3" world. And even back here, being 6'3", I still have like maybe about like half an inch of leg, or not half an inch. I have at least like an inch of leg room. But definitely, I have to say, the Durango is one of the more roomier third rows. It's not as roomy as the Kia Telluride that I just reviewed, which also will probably be the same way for the Palisade. But now let's go ahead and let's go see what's under the hood, because this thing is an absolute fire breather. And it also is a lot different from the competition. So guys, under the hood of the Durango for 2019.
The base model has a 3.6 power starter V6 engine in it.
And then there's the 6.4 liter Hemi V8, only in the SRT model.
That also only comes in all-wheel drive, but since this is only an RT model, they don't have an SRT. Kind of sad to say we're going to have to stick with this 5.7 liter V8, but this also has MDS and variable valve timing. What MDS is its multi-displacement system, which actually means that it can shut down up to 4 cylinders to improve fuel economy. So practically this thing can run on a V4. So power numbers for this 5.7 liter V8 is 360 horsepower and 390 pound-foot of torque, which is actually a very healthy number. This also comes hooked up to an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, one of the best automatic transmissions in the business. You also have a rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive layout, which is actually one of 2 SUVs now that have a rear-wheel drive layout and chassis, which means that rear-wheel drive, it's going to be amazing for towing. Your EPA estimated fuel economy, though, is not great on this thing. It's 14 city, 22 highway. But there's even worse. Like Skylar was saying with that 6.4 liter Hemi V8, yes, it does come with 475 horsepower, but it is a brute and it sucks fuel because it only gets 19 highway miles to the gallon. That's really bad, and that's honestly where the Dodge Durango really starts to show its age with how bad the fuel economy is. But if you're not really into the V8s, you can go with that V6 and get up to 26 miles to the gallon highway, which is actually not that bad for a 4,700 pound lumbering SUV. But as this one is equipped with this V8, it is 400 pounds heavier than that 3.6 Pentastar V6, and you guys can tell that this thing sounds like a freaking monster. So now we're gonna have to talk about safety, because the Durango, actually, for it being super old, it's actually not that bad with safety. And it's got a lot of safety features and such. And by the way, like I said, just to prove it, these 3 vents are actually functional, because there's a hole for this one, and this one also has a hole coming out, and plus I can feel heat from the engine from just revving it. That means it's hot, hot, hot. So let's start off the safety about talking about the auto high beam headlights.
Oh my God, it's bright!
And now you also got rain sensitive windshield wipers.
Wow, that's moist.
Oh, my knee!
And there's advanced brake assist, which I don't think it also includes pedestrian detection. So I guess I better go check on this guy. You okay, my dude? Oops, sorry, I was testing out my blind spot with cross traffic detection. Yeah, you've also got a lane departure warning with the steering assist, so that's at least nice. I guess I better put my hands back on the wheel before it does it again. Wow, am I a bad driver. So as you can see, the safety of the Durango is actually not bad for it being a couple years old. It's like 9 years old. But unfortunately, this thing does not have the actual crash worthiness in case if you do actually have that happen to you. Because this thing in IIHS safety testing does not earn any safety awards, because it only earned a marginal rating on the driver's side, small overlap. And I think that the Grand Cherokee had like a poor rating on the other side on the passenger. So definitely this thing would definitely not be able to do very well in the crash testing. Plus also these HID headlamps earn a marginal rating. So definitely the Durango has a lot of safety that it needs to catch up on. But now let's go ahead and let's go finally take this thing out for a spin, because I'm really excited to see what this 5.7 liter Hemi does. So guys, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take this thing out on the real road, but I can give you guys pretty much of an aspect. So we got everybody here so we can get all the reactions, which I think is going to be pretty funny. I also forgot to mention, the Durango here, this one has a power tilt telescopic steering column, which I find very surprising. I know the Explorer ST that I did had that same thing, but let's set off. Whee! Okay, the first thing I gotta say, the suspension is quite firm. Since this is the RT model, it's gonna be a little bit firmer than average. So far, this thing drives actually not too bad. It is firm. You do feel the imperfections in the road. It is really firm. Because this is a V8, we're gonna get over here on this straighter section. I'm gonna use the paddles. And I am just gonna floor it.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, the freaking thunk in the transmission. Holy Mary. That was crazy.
Holy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh!
Jimmy!
This thing is freaking, oh my god.
Like we said, fast. We ain't kidding.
Okay, we're gonna hit this pothole.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh yeah, the suspension is real firm, so definitely this thing is not a great riding suspension. But then again, because it's an RT, it's really rough.
I like it firm.
And rough.
Okay, now I'm turning that dang freaking heated steering wheel off as soon as I can find it. No! It says fuel, it says just fuel low.
Jesus Christ, I'm gonna die tonight.
No, you're not. This thing does feel like a big lumbering SUV, but surprisingly, it didn't take that corner too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing freaking holds the gears.
That is badass.
No launching around the train, please.
Downshifts are so smooth. I gotta tell you, this ZF is real smooth. The sound of this thing is really good.
Hey.
Oh!
Jimmy!
What the
What's that?
I cannot, it launched that hard. I cannot imagine what the SRT does. Holy Christ.
I'm alive.
3, 2, 1, launch!
Oh my.
Holy! Oh!
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The frickin' snarl.
I know, right?
I love the paddle shifters. Downshift. Downshift. Upshift. 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 It is so communicative. It is so communicative. Even the downshifts are super smooth with this ZF 8-speed.
That's a little tight.
Okay, so since this is 201 inches long, honestly, I gotta say, this thing drives a lot smaller than it feels. You got gigantic mirrors, you got decent visibility, but I do gotta say, this thing is a big lumbering SUV, so obviously it's gonna be quite fun, and I just totally missed the turn. So we're gonna go down here and we're gonna go take a look at that Raptor that we reviewed just a little bit ago and just posted on YouTube. So make sure you guys go and watch that. Oh yeah, rough, rough, rough.
Ow.
So guys, that is driving the Durango RT. Man, this thing just sounds so good. It sounds so good. It drives like a freaking bat out of hell. And it literally is what I would probably call a performance SUV. But definitely, if I ever get to review that Durango SRT, I'm gonna have to be prepared and I'm gonna have to bring a pair of balls because this thing is so fast, it scared the living hell out of me. More than freaking the Explorer ST did. So guys, what's my final verdict on the Durango RT?
It's fast.
It's big.
And most importantly, it's all American. So if I had to put it on the buy it, lease it, rent it, or run like hell scale, I think that F-150 Lightning was trying to tell me to buy it, but I have to say I would definitely lease this thing because it's an older design. It's great for towing. It might suit your 3-row family needs, but honestly, it needs some better safety and it needs a little bit more safety tech, although it's pretty well filled. And plus, this front end's starting to kind of get a bit old, but that interior is really starting to get very old. So I hope Dodge redesigns it, but definitely I'd be sold with the powertrain. So I hope that Dodge actually keeps V8 options available for the Durango in the next generation if they ever make another one. So for A8 Reviews, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Grant.
I'm Skylar.
And I want to thank you guys for watching. Guys, give these guys a big, huge welcome to the A8 Reviews family because, guys, we are trying to make reviews better. And I'm telling you what, these guys are such a hoot to work out with, and we all are so happy to finally have them as part of the A8 Reviews family. So for A8 Reviews, guys, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Grant. I'm Skylar.
Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and
Ding the notification bell
so you guys can follow us in following the automotive industry one revolution at a time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, and buy American, obviously.